Have you ever felt adrift in the storm of life, overwhelmed by anxiety about a future you can't predict, haunted by regrets from a past you can't change, or simply battered by the relentless waves of daily stress and expectation? Do you sometimes look at the world with its noise, its demands, its superficial obsessions, and wonder if there's a deeper current, a more steadfast way to navigate your existence? What if I told you that for millennia, a profound system of wisdom has existed, a hidden key, if you will, to unlocking an extraordinary level of inner strength, peace, and clarity, a philosophy so potent, so practical, that it empowered emperors and slaves alike to face unimaginable adversity, not just with courage, but with a serene and unshakable resolve? This isn't some fleeting self-help trend or a mystical secret reserved for a chosen few. This is Stoic wisdom, an ancient Greco-Roman philosophy that has for too long been subtly pushed to the margins by a modern culture that often misguides us. A culture that tells you happiness lies in external achievements, possessions, or the approval of others. This, my friends, is the conspiracy of distraction, a pervasive societal narrative that steers you away from the incredible untapped reservoir of power that resides within you. Welcome to the Wisdom of Stoics. I am your guide on this journey, and together we are about to embark on an exploration that could very well redefine your life. We're not here for a dry academic lecture. We are here to unlock 10 transformative insights from the heart of Stoicism. Insights that are as relevant and life-changing today as they were 2,000 years ago. These are not mere concepts. They are blueprints for building profound personal development, unshakable emotional resilience, and a deep, abiding inner peace. Imagine a version of yourself that can face any challenge with a calm mind and a steady heart. A version of yourself that finds strength not in avoiding pain, but in understanding its purpose. A version of yourself that lives with profound meaning, guided by virtue and reason. This is the promise of cultivating a Stoic mindset. The Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who wrote his meditations amidst war and plague. Seneca, the playwright and statesman who faced exile and a death sentence with equanimity. Epictetus, born a slave who became one of antiquity's most revered teachers of freedom. They weren't gods. They were human beings who understood the art of living an art they meticulously documented for us. Before we delve into these 10 powerful insights, if the idea of unlocking your own inner fortress resonates with you, if you believe that there's more to life than the surface-level struggles, I invite you to hit that like button right now. It tells us you're ready for this journey, and if you're committed to true personal development and want the wisdom of Stoics to be your steadfast companion, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. We are more than a channel. We are a community dedicated to exploring these timeless truths together. Are you ready to unlock the wisdom that has been waiting for you? Let's begin. Our first insight is arguably the cornerstone of all Stoic wisdom, the very bedrock upon which a life of tranquility and purpose is built. It is the dichotomy of control. Or, as Epictetus so powerfully articulated, some things are within our power, while others are not. Such a simple statement, yet within it lies the secret to profound inner peace. Let's dissect this, what truly lies within our sphere of influence. The Stoics are uncompromisingly clear. Our thoughts, our judgments, our choices, our desires, our aversions, our actions. Essentially, our inner world, our responses, our will, that's it. Everything else falls into the category of things not directly and completely within our control. Think about it. You cannot control the weather, the economy, traffic jams, whether someone likes you, whether you get sick, though you can influence it, or even the ultimate outcome of your best efforts. You can study diligently for an exam, but you cannot absolutely control the grade you receive. You can practice relentlessly for a competition, but you cannot guarantee victory. You can be the kindest person, but you cannot control how others perceive or treat you. The modern world, with its relentless emphasis on achievement and external validation, often tricks us into believing we should control these externals. This illusion is a primary source of our anxiety, frustration, anger, and disappointment. We suffer not because of events themselves, but because we invest our emotional energy in trying to control the uncontrollable, or because we stake our happiness on outcomes that were never entirely ours to determine. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminded himself of this principle. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't a call for passivity, far from it. It's a call for strategic action. Focus your energy, your effort, your entire being on what you can control: your character, your intentions, your responses. Consider a common scenario, a crucial work presentation. You've prepared meticulously, your control. On the day the projector malfunctions, not your control. Your boss seems distracted, not your control. A colleague asks a challenging question, not your control, though you control your preparation for Q&A. The untrained mind might spiral. "This is a disaster. They'll think I'm incompetent. My career is over." This is focusing on the uncontrollable and allowing external events to dictate inner turmoil. The Stoic in training, however, would acknowledge the projector issue, perhaps calmly try a backup, or adapt actions in control. They would deliver their presentation with the same conviction, effort in control. They would answer the question thoughtfully and honestly, response in control. Their inner peace isn't shattered because their focus is internal. This principle radically reorients your approach to life. It liberates you from the tyranny of what-ifs and the bitterness of if-onlys. It allows you to act with full commitment and then accept the outcome, whatever it may be, with equanimity, because you know you did everything within your power. Modern psychology echoes this ancient wisdom. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. One of the most effective treatments for anxiety and depression is largely based on identifying and changing unhelpful thought patterns and focusing on behaviors within one's control. Concepts like locus of control explore how individuals who believe they can influence events in their lives' internal locus tend to experience less stress and greater well-being than those who feel powerless external locus. The Stoics were pioneering psychologists thousands of years ahead of their time. Actionable steps for this insight. First, daily reflection. At the start or end of each day, list your anxieties or challenges. For each one, consciously ask, what aspects of this are within my control? What aspects are not? Write them down in 2 columns. Second, shift your focus. Deliberately redirect your mental and emotional energy from the not in my control column to the in my control column. If you're worried about a promotion, shift from will I get it outcome not fully in your control to have I done my best work? Have I clearly communicated my value? Have I prepared for the interview? Actions in your control. Third, practice acceptance. For those things truly outside your control, practice mindful acceptance. This isn't resignation. It's a pragmatic acknowledgement of reality that frees up energy. Say to yourself, this is outside my control, and I accept that. Now what can I do? Mastering the dichotomy of control is the first giant leap in your personal development. It's the pathway to genuine emotional resilience, because you're no longer a puppet reacting to external strings. Your emotions become more stable, less dependent on the chaotic dance of the outside world. This is the bedrock of inner peace. knowing that your core well-being is anchored within your own mind and choices, not in the fickle hands of fortune. This is fundamental to cultivating a robust Stoic mindset. This insight alone, if deeply internalized and consistently practiced, can revolutionize your experience of life. But it's just the beginning. The Stoics offer us so much more. If the dichotomy of control teaches us where to focus our energy, our second insight, amor fati, teaches us how to relate to everything else, especially the things we cannot change, the events that unfold despite our best efforts. Amor fati is a Latin phrase famously embraced by philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, but deeply rooted in Stoic thought. It means love of one's fate. Now, loving your fate might sound radical, even masochistic, especially when fate delivers hardship, loss, or pain. How can one love suffering? This is where the profound depth of Stoic wisdom shines. Amor fati is not a passive resignation or a Pollyanna-ish denial of difficulty. It's an active, courageous embrace of reality, all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as essential ingredients in the tapestry of your life. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather wish for things to happen the way they do happen, and your life will go well." This isn't about suppressing your desires or pretending you wanted a negative outcome. It's about recognizing that once something has happened, particularly if it was outside your control, railing against it, wishing it were different, is a futile expenditure of energy. It's like arguing with the rain. Marcus Aurelius took this further. He encouraged himself not just to accept, but to welcome what fate brought. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, and do this with all your heart. And all that is in accord with you is in accord with me, O universe. Nothing which occurs at the right time for you is too early or too late for me. Imagine someone who dreams of becoming a concert pianist. They practice diligently for years within their control. Then a tragic accident injures their hand, making a professional career impossible outside their control. The common response might be bitterness, despair, a feeling that life is unfair. This person might spend years, even a lifetime, mourning what was lost, defined by what they can't do. Amor fati offers a different path. It doesn't mean pretending the injury isn't devastating. It means feeling the grief, acknowledging the loss, and then asking, okay, this has happened. This is my reality now. How can I not just endure this, but embrace it? What new path can this open? What can I learn from this? How can I still live a meaningful life, perhaps even finding a new way to share my love for music? Perhaps they become a composer, a teacher, an advocate for musicians with disabilities. Amor fati is about seeing the event, no matter how unwelcome, as a new set of materials to work with, a new chapter to write. It's about transforming poison into medicine. It's the ultimate act of emotional resilience, because it reframes adversity not as an endpoint, but as a redirection, potentially to something equally or even more meaningful. The conspiracy here is our cultural obsession with a perfect life free of setbacks. This sets us up for disappointment. Stoicism, through amor fati, reveals the secret that a fulfilling life isn't about avoiding problems, but about how we integrate them into our story. The psychological concept of post-traumatic growth, PTG, aligns beautifully with amor fati. PTG refers to the positive psychological change experienced as a result of struggling with highly challenging life circumstances. People who experience PTG often report a greater appreciation for life, stronger relationships, new possibilities, personal strength, and spiritual development. Amor fati is like a proactive cultivation of the mindset that enables PTG. It's about actively looking for the growth potential in every trauma, big or small. Actionable steps for this insight. First, reframe past failures or misfortunes. Think of a significant past event you considered a setback. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong or what you lost, ask, what did I learn from this? How did it make me stronger or wiser? What unexpected good came out of it, even if indirectly? Try to see it not as a flaw in your life story, but as a crucial plot point. Second, when facing current adversity, consciously tell yourself, this is happening. It is part of my path. I will not waste energy wishing it weren't so. Instead, I will find the opportunity within it. I will love this fate. This is a mental muscle that strengthens with practice. Third, gratitude for the whole practice. Gratitude not just for the good things, but for the lessons and strengths gained from the bad things. See your life, with all its ups and downs, as a complete and unique journey that is yours. Amor fati is a cornerstone of the Stoic mindset, transforming your relationship with life itself. It builds unparalleled emotional resilience by teaching you to bend like a reed in the wind rather than break. Instead of constantly fighting reality, you learn to flow with it, even to love it. This deep acceptance paradoxically becomes a powerful engine for personal development as you cease to be a victim of circumstance and become an alchemist of your experiences. True inner peace arises when you can genuinely say yes to whatever life brings, knowing you have the strength to integrate it meaningfully. This powerful acceptance opens the door to another crucial Stoic practice. Our third insight might seem counterintuitive, especially in a world obsessed with positive thinking. It's premeditatio malorum, Latin for the premeditation of evils, or more simply, negative visualization. Before you dismiss this as pessimistic, understand that for the Stoics, this was a powerful tool for building emotional resilience and fostering gratitude. What is premeditatio malorum? It's the practice of regularly and deliberately contemplating the things that could go wrong in your life. This isn't about wallowing in anxiety or creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of doom. Quite the opposite. It's about mentally preparing for adversity, stripping future misfortunes of their power to shock and overwhelm you, and paradoxically, increasing your appreciation for what you currently have. Seneca was a strong proponent of this. He wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." And what is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster. This is a reason for ensuring that nothing ever takes us by surprise. We should project our thoughts ahead of us at every turn, and have in mind every possible eventuality instead of only the usual course of events. Imagine you have an important flight. The typical approach is to hope everything goes smoothly. The Stoic practicing premeditatio malorum might spend a few moments considering, what if there's heavy traffic to the airport? What if the flight is delayed or canceled? What if my luggage gets lost? What if I feel unwell during the flight? Again, the point isn't to become paranoid. It's to first reduce shock and panic. If one of these things does happen, you've already mentally visited that scenario. The initial shock is lessened. You're less likely to react with blind panic and more likely to respond rationally. Second, prompt contingency planning. Contemplating these possibilities might lead you to leave for the airport earlier, pack essentials in your carry-on, or download entertainment for a potential delay. You're proactively addressing potential problems. Third, foster gratitude. If none of these things happen, if the journey is smooth, your luggage arrives, you feel fine, you experience a deeper sense of appreciation. You don't just take it for granted, you savor the good fortune because you've contemplated its absence. This is a crucial aspect often missed. Negative visualization enhances your joy in positive outcomes. Fourth, build resilience. By regularly confronting potential hardships in your mind, you build a kind of psychological immunity. You realize that even if bad things happen, you can cope. You can endure. You are stronger than you think. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He would start his day by telling himself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." This wasn't to make himself miserable. It was to prepare himself for the inevitable imperfections of human interaction so he could respond with wisdom and composure rather than surprise and anger. This technique has parallels in modern psychological practices. Stress inoculation training involves exposing individuals to milder stressors to build resilience for more significant ones. Pilots, surgeons, and elite athletes all engage in forms of negative visualization, mentally rehearsing things going wrong so they can respond effectively under pressure. It's about preparedness, not pessimism. Furthermore, research on defensive pessimism shows that for some individuals, thinking about potential negative outcomes can actually improve performance by motivating them to prepare more thoroughly and manage anxiety. Actionable steps for this insight. First, morning contemplation. Spend a few minutes each morning considering potential challenges or frustrations you might face during the day. A difficult meeting, a traffic jam, a critical comment. Imagine how you would ideally respond with Stoic virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. Second, project-specific visualization. Before undertaking any significant project or event, take time to visualize what could go wrong. Then think about how you would handle these setbacks. What resources would you need? What would be your Stoic response? Third, loss rehearsal, voluntary discomfort. Periodically imagine losing things you value, not to be morbid, but to appreciate them more fully now and to remind yourself of your inner resilience. Seneca suggested occasionally living as if you were poor, eating simple food, wearing basic clothes, to reduce the fear of poverty and increase gratitude for current comforts. This is an advanced practice, but even imagining it can be powerful. Premeditatio malorum is a powerful tool for personal development because it cultivates foresight, preparedness, and gratitude. It's a direct route to enhanced emotional resilience as it strips away the power of surprise and shock from adverse events. By mentally wrestling with potential misfortunes, you strengthen your Stoic mindset, transforming fear into prudence and anxiety into preparedness. This proactive approach helps maintain inner peace, not by avoiding life's storms, but by knowing you've built a sturdy ship and practiced navigating rough seas. This preparedness leads us to another core tenet, understanding what truly matters. We now arrive at a concept that is perhaps the most radical and challenging aspect of Stoic wisdom for the modern mind, yet it holds the key to an incorruptible sense of self-worth and purpose. This is the Stoic assertion that virtue is the sole good. What does this mean? The Stoics believed that the only thing that is truly good, in an absolute sense, is a virtuous character, living with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Everything else, health, wealth, reputation, pleasure, even life itself, they classified as indifference, not unimportant, but indifferent in the sense that they are not inherently good or bad in determining one's moral worth or true happiness, eudaimonia. This is a profound departure from how most of us are conditioned to think. We typically equate good with external achievements or possessions. A big house is good, a promotion is good, being popular is good. The Stoics would say these things are preferred indifference. It's natural to prefer health over sickness, wealth over poverty, but they are not good in themselves. Why? Because they can be used for ill, or they can be lost, or they can fail to bring true contentment. Someone can be wealthy, but miserable healthy, but cruel famous, but morally bankrupt. Conversely, someone can face poverty, illness, or obscurity with immense dignity, courage, and inner richness. Virtue, however, the quality of your character, the excellence of your soul, is always good. It cannot be misused, it cannot be truly taken from you by external forces, and it is the only reliable foundation for lasting well-being. Epictetus stated it starkly, "For it is not death or pain that is to be dreaded, but the fear of pain or death. What is terrible is our judgment about things." And further, where is the good in our choices? Where is the evil in our choices? Where is neither of them in those things that are independent of choice? Our choices, guided by virtue, are where our true good lies. Consider two individuals aiming for a career promotion. Person A sees the promotion and external as the ultimate good. They might be tempted to cut corners, undermine colleagues, or engage in flattery to get it. If they succeed, their happiness is fragile, dependent on keeping the position and the perks. If they fail, they are crushed, seeing it as a personal failing or an unbearable injustice. Person B, practicing Stoic principles, sees doing their best work with integrity, treating colleagues justly, and developing their skills virtues as the primary good. The promotion is a preferred indifferent. They strive for it, but their self-worth isn't tied to it. If they get it, they accept it as a welcome outcome of their virtuous efforts. If they don't, they examine what they can learn, maintain their integrity, and continue to focus on virtuous action in their current role. Their inner peace and self-respect remain intact because their good, their virtue, was never compromised. This redefinition of success is liberating. It frees you from the rat race, from the endless pursuit of external validation. Your win condition becomes internal. Did I act with courage today? Was I fair? Was I temperate? Did I seek wisdom? This is the path to profound personal development, focusing on who you are rather than what you have. Modern psychology points to the importance of intrinsic motivation and values-based living for sustained well-being. People whose goals are primarily intrinsic, related to personal growth, community feeling relationships, closely aligned with virtues, report higher levels of happiness and lower levels of anxiety and depression than those focused on extrinsic goals, wealth, fame, image. The Stoic emphasis on virtue aligns perfectly with this. It fosters a sense of authentic self-esteem, not based on fleeting achievements, but on enduring character. Actionable steps for this insight. First, identify your core virtues. Reflect on what wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance mean to you in practical terms. How can you embody these in your daily life, in your work, in your relationships? Second, reevaluate your goals. Examine your current goals. Are they primarily focused on acquiring indifference, money, status, possessions? How can you reframe them or add new goals that are centered on cultivating virtue? For example, instead of get a promotion, it could be become a more skilled and ethical leader in my field. Third, the virtue test for decisions. When faced with a difficult choice, ask yourself, what would wisdom demand here? What is the just course of action? What would courage look like? What does temperance suggest? Let virtue be your compass. Embracing virtue as the sole good is a revolutionary step in your personal development. It builds an unshakable Stoic mindset that is immune to the whims of fortune. Your emotional resilience grows because your self-worth is no longer hostage to external outcomes. This is where true sustainable inner peace is found, not in a perfect life, but in a virtuous one. The conspiracy that Stoicism unveils is that true value isn't out there. It's in here, in the cultivation of your character. And when virtue guides us, even obstacles become opportunities. Our fifth Stoic insight is one of the most empowering and actionable. The obstacle is the way. This profound concept, most famously articulated by Marcus Aurelius, teaches us not just to endure adversity, but to use it as fuel for growth and virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is not just a clever turn of phrase. It's a practical philosophy for navigating the inevitable challenges of life. It means that every obstacle, every setback, every difficulty we encounter carries within it an opportunity to practice and display our virtues, our wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Think about it. How can you practice courage if there's nothing to fear? How can you practice patience if there's nothing to wait for? How can you practice resilience if you're never knocked down? The Stoics understood that obstacles are not unfortunate interruptions to our plans. They are the plan. They are the raw material from which we forge our character. Imagine you're working on a critical project and a key team member unexpectedly quits, leaving you short-handed and facing a tight deadline. The obstacle, the untrained response. Panic, blame, complain, feel victimized. This is impossible. Why does this always happen to me? This response focuses on the negativity of the obstacle itself. The Stoic response. The obstacle is the way. First, acknowledge reality. Dichotomy of control. The team member has left. That fact is not in your control. Your response is. Second, seek wisdom. Okay, what's the most intelligent way to approach this situation now? How can we reallocate tasks? Can we prioritize? Do we need to communicate a revised timeline? Third, summon courage. This is daunting, but we can face it. I will lead by example and not succumb to despair. Fourth, practice justice. How can I support the remaining team members fairly? How can we ensure the client stakeholder is treated with transparency? Fifth, exercise temperance. Avoid panic or rash decisions. Maintain composure. Focus effort efficiently. In this scenario, the obstacle, the team member quitting, becomes the very means by which you exercise and strengthen your leadership, problem-solving skills, resilience, and composure. The obstacle doesn't just get overcome, it becomes the way to your personal development. Seneca put it beautifully. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. He saw challenges as a training ground. The conspiracy of modern comfort often seeks to eliminate all friction, all difficulty. But Stoicism reveals the secret that friction is what allows us to gain traction, to grow stronger. The concept of anti-fragility, popularized by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, describes systems that gain from shocks and disorder. While resilience is about bouncing back, anti-fragility is about bouncing back stronger. The Stoic approach of using obstacles as fuel aligns perfectly with becoming anti-fragile. Facing and overcoming challenges builds self-efficacy, the belief in one's ability to succeed. This is a cornerstone of psychological well-being and achievement. Actionable steps for this insight. First, reframe challenges. When an obstacle arises, consciously stop your initial reactive thought, i.e., "Oh no, this is terrible." Ask instead, what virtues can I practice here? What opportunity does this present for me to grow or act with excellence? Second, break it down. If an obstacle seems overwhelming, break it down into smaller, manageable parts. For each part, identify how you can apply Stoic principles. Third, journal about obstacles. Keep a journal where you reflect on obstacles you've faced. How did you respond? What did you learn? How did the obstacle ultimately serve as a way for you to develop a particular strength or insight. This reinforces the mindset. Fourth, seek out productive discomfort. While not seeking out needless suffering, don't always shy away from challenging tasks or situations that push you out of your comfort zone. These are often where the most significant growth occurs. Viewing the obstacle is the way is a transformative element of the Stoic mindset. It directly builds emotional resilience by changing your fundamental relationship with adversity from one of fear and avoidance to one of engagement and opportunity. This is practical personal development in action. Every challenge becomes a curriculum for a stronger, wiser self. The inner peace that results is not the peace of an undisturbed life, but the peace of knowing you can handle whatever life throws your way and even use it to your advantage. This perspective on obstacles naturally leads us to consider the bigger picture of our lives. Our sixth insight combines two powerful Stoic meditation techniques, memento mori, remember you will die, and the view from above. Together they provide a profound sense of perspective, urgency, and meaning to our daily lives, helping us to focus on what truly matters in our quest for personal development. Memento mori, the reminder of our own mortality, might sound morbid to some. Modern culture often shies away from the topic of death, treating it as a taboo. But for the Stoics, contemplating death was not about inducing fear. It was about invigorating life. By remembering that our time is finite, we are spurred to live more fully, more virtuously, and to waste less of our precious moments on trivialities. Seneca urged Lucilius, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't meant to paralyze us with fear, but to clarify our priorities. If this were your last day, would you spend it arguing over petty slights? Would you procrastinate on what truly matters? Or would you focus on kindness, on contribution, on living your values? Complementing memento mori is the view from above, also known as the Platonic view. This is a meditation where you visualize yourself ascending high above the earth, looking down on your city, your country, the entire planet, and then expanding further to see human history, geological time, the vastness of the cosmos. Marcus Aurelius practiced this. Survey the pleroma, the totality of things from above, the assemblies, the armies, the farmsteads, the weddings and divorces, an admixture of everything, an orderly pattern of opposites. Imagine you're incredibly stressed about a looming deadline or a conflict with a colleague. Applying memento mori, you pause and think, in the grand scheme of my entire life, how much will this specific stressor matter on my deathbed? Is the way I'm handling this aligned with how I'd want to be remembered? Am I spending my limited time wisely? This often shrinks the problem's perceived size and redirects focus to a more virtuous response. Applying the view from above you. Visualize yourself rising above the situation. You see your office building, then your city, then the earth. From this vantage point, your current problem, which felt all-consuming, appears much smaller, one tiny event among billions. You see the vast sweep of human history, countless similar struggles faced and overcome. This doesn't invalidate your problem, but it contextualizes it, reducing its emotional charge and allowing for a more objective, less reactive perspective. Used together, these practices achieve several things. First, clarify priorities. They strip away the trivial and highlight what is truly important: our character, our relationships, our contribution. Second, instill urgency. Memento mori reminds us not to delay living a virtuous life. Third, reduce anxiety. The view from above diminishes the perceived magnitude of our personal anxieties and frustrations by placing them in a larger cosmic context. Fourth, foster humility and connection sympathia. Seeing ourselves as part of a much larger whole can reduce ego and foster a sense of connection with humanity and the universe, a concept we'll explore later. The conspiracy is the societal tendency to get bogged down in the immediate, the trivial, the ego-driven dramas, making us forget the brevity of life and the vastness of existence. Stoicism's secret is that these perspectives are tools to cut through that fog. Terror management theory, TMT, in psychology suggests that awareness of mortality can motivate people to adhere more strongly to their cultural worldviews and strive for symbolic immortality, e.g., through contributions that outlive them. Stoic memento mori channels this awareness constructively towards virtuous living. Perspective-taking exercises similar to the view from above are used in therapy to help individuals detach from overwhelming emotions and gain a more objective view of their problems, reducing rumination and promoting problem-solving. Actionable steps for this insight. First, daily memento mori. Start or end your day with a brief reflection. If my time were limited, how would I act today? What truly matters? You can use a physical reminder like a coin or a small skull. Vanitas symbols were common historically. Second practice, the view from above. When feeling overwhelmed or caught up in a minor issue, take a few minutes to mentally zoom out. Imagine yourself rising higher and higher, seeing your situation from progressively greater distances. Third, value your time. Actively combat procrastination. Treat your time as the precious, non-renewable resource it is. Ask, is this activity worthy of my limited time? Memento mori and the view from above are vital for cultivating a mature Stoic mindset. They inject a powerful sense of purpose and perspective into your personal development, urging you to live deliberately and virtuously. This broader view significantly enhances emotional resilience by right-sizing problems and reducing the sting of ego-driven concerns. The inner peace that arises is one grounded in an understanding of life's transient nature and your place within the vast cosmos, encouraging you to make the most of your time by focusing on internal excellence. This clear-sighted perspective helps us in our next insight, the importance of objective judgment. Our seventh insight from Stoic Wisdom focuses on the crucial discipline of the mind, the ability to see things as they truly are, stripped of our subjective interpretations, emotional colorings, and unexamined opinions. This is the power of objective judgment, a cornerstone of the Stoic mindset. Epictetus famously taught, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This is a radical statement. It suggests that the source of our emotional turmoil is not external events themselves, but our internal judgments about those events. The world simply is. We are the ones who label events as good or bad, terrible or wonderful, fair or unfair. And it is these labels, these judgments, that often cause our suffering. Marcus Aurelius constantly worked on this. He advised himself to strip things bare, get down to their bare bones, their naked reality, and don't tell yourself anything more than what the initial impressions report. Told that so-and-so has been speaking ill of you. That has been reported. That you have been harmed, that has not been reported. He urged himself to separate raw facts from the stories we weave around them. Consider receiving critical feedback at work. Fact, your manager said, this report needs more data to support its conclusions. Subjective judgment story. Untrained mind. My manager thinks I'm incompetent. I'm going to get fired. This is a disaster. I'm a failure. This judgment is layered with fear, catastrophizing, and personalization. It's this story that causes distress, not the manager's factual statement. Objective judgment Stoic approach. The manager stated the report needs more data. This is feedback on the report, not a judgment of my entire worth. What data can I add? How can I improve this specific piece of work? By stripping away the emotional narrative and focusing on the objective facts, you remain in a position of power. You can address the feedback constructively rather than becoming paralyzed by self-deprecating stories. This allows for clear-headed personal development. The conspiracy here is our own mind's tendency to create elaborate, often negative narratives around neutral events. We are natural storytellers, but sometimes our stories imprison us. Stoicism offers the secret of disciplined thought, becoming a discerning editor of our own internal monologue. How to practice objective judgment. First, separate facts from interpretations. When you feel a strong negative emotion, pause. Ask yourself, what are the bare facts of this situation, and what are my interpretations? My judgments, my stories about these facts. Write them down in 2 columns. Second challenge, your interpretations. Are your interpretations the only possible ones? Are they definitively true? What other, perhaps more neutral or constructive interpretations could exist? Third use, neutral language. Describe events to yourself in the most objective, unemotional language possible, instead of "my partner ignored me," which implies intent and a negative judgment. Try "my partner was quiet when I spoke." This opens up space for other possibilities. They were tired, distracted thinking rather than immediate conflict. Fourth, focus on what is not. What should be. A lot of our distress comes from a mismatch between reality and our expectations of how things should be. Objective judgment means acknowledging what is without immediately overlaying it with our desires or ideals. This Stoic practice is a direct precursor to key techniques in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Cognitive restructuring in CBT involves identifying, challenging, and changing negative or irrational thought patterns, judgments that lead to emotional distress. By learning to assess situations more objectively, individuals can significantly reduce anxiety, anger, and depression. It improves problem-solving skills because you're dealing with reality, not your emotionally charged version of it. The discipline of objective judgment is fundamental to a strong Stoic mindset. It is a direct path to inner peace as it quiets the internal noise of reactive, often negative interpretations. This clarity is essential for effective personal development, allowing you to learn from experiences without being derailed by emotional drama. Your emotional resilience grows as you become less susceptible to being tossed about by your initial, often flawed judgments about events. You start to navigate the world with a calmer, more discerning mind. This ability to see clearly extends beyond our personal situations to our connection with others and the world. Our 8th insight, sympathia, broadens our perspective from the internal landscape of our minds to our place within the larger whole. Sympathia is the Stoic concept of cosmic interconnectedness, the idea that all things in the universe are mutually interwoven and interdependent, forming one harmonious whole. It's a call to recognize our shared humanity and our place in the natural order. Marcus Aurelius was particularly eloquent on this theme. He wrote, "Meditate often on the interconnectedness and mutual interdependence of all things in the universe. For in a sense, all things are mutually woven together and therefore have an affinity for each other. And what is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee." This highlights that our individual well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of the community of humanity of the cosmos. This isn't just a poetic or mystical idea for the Stoics. It has profound ethical implications. If we are all parts of one body, then to harm another is, in a sense, to harm ourselves. To act selfishly or unjustly is to disrupt the harmony of the whole. Conversely, to act with kindness, justice, and cooperation is to contribute to the flourishing of that whole and therefore to our own. Consider how you react to someone who cuts you off in traffic or is rude to you. The isolated self-response. That idiot, how dare they, they've ruined my mood. This is a very egocentric, disconnected view. The sympatheia-informed response, while still acknowledging the annoyance. Stoics aren't emotionless. You might also think, this person is part of the same human family as me. Perhaps they are stressed late or simply having a bad day, just as I sometimes do. They are acting from ignorance of what is truly good virtue, just as I sometimes do. While their action was not right, my well-being isn't dependent on their perfect behavior. How can I respond in a way that upholds my own virtue and doesn't add more negativity to the world? Sympatheia encourages us to first cultivate empathy and compassion. Recognizing our shared humanity makes it easier to understand and forgive the failings of others and ourselves. Second, promote pro-social behavior. If we are all connected, then helping others, contributing to the community, and acting justly become natural extensions of our own self-interest, rightly understood. Third, find meaning in service. Our personal development becomes less about individual achievement and more about our contribution to the collective good. Fourth, respect nature. As part of the cosmos, we have a responsibility to live in harmony with the natural world. The conspiracy is the illusion of radical separation and individualism that modern society often promotes, leading to alienation and conflict. Stoicism's secret is that our greatest strength and meaning come from recognizing and honoring our deep interconnectedness. A wealth of modern psychological research supports the benefits of altruism, compassion, and social connection for well-being. Engaging in pro-social behavior, helping others, is linked to increased happiness, reduced stress, and even improved physical health. Practices like loving-kindness meditation, which cultivate feelings of warmth and connection towards oneself and others, have been shown to enhance positive emotions and decrease negative ones. Sympatheia is the philosophical underpinning for these beneficial human experiences. Actionable steps for this insight. First, practice active empathy. When interacting with others, especially in difficult situations, consciously try to see the world from their perspective. Remind yourself of your shared humanity. Second, look for commonalities in a divided world. Actively seek out what connects you to others rather than what separates you. Third, engage in acts of service. Find ways, big or small, to contribute to your community or help others without expectation of reward. This reinforces your sense of connection. Fourth, nature contemplation. Spend time in nature reflecting on your connection to the larger web of life. Sympatheia enriches the Stoic mindset by expanding its focus beyond individual resilience to encompass our role in the wider world. It adds a vital dimension to personal development, guiding us towards becoming not just strong individuals, but also responsible and compassionate members of the human family. This sense of belonging and shared purpose contributes profoundly to inner peace and strengthens our emotional resilience by reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles or our aspirations. It fosters a sense of meaning that transcends the purely personal. This interconnectedness and inner strength allow us to build an unbreachable fortress within. Our ninth Stoic insight is a powerful metaphor for the ultimate goal of much of this philosophical practice, the creation of an inner citadel. This is your internal fortress of peace and strength, a sanctuary within your mind that remains untouched by external chaos and adversity. It's the culmination of applying Stoic principles to achieve profound emotional resilience. Marcus Aurelius spoke frequently of this inner citadel. Remember that your ruling faculty is invincible when self-contained. It is satisfied with itself if it does nothing which it does not will to do, even if it resist from mere obstinacy. How much more then when it forms its judgment of anything with reason and after careful deliberation. Therefore the mind without passions is a walled citadel, and men seek retreats for themselves, houses in the country, seashores and mountains. And thou too art wont to desire such things very much. But this is altogether a mark of the most common sort of men, for it is in thy power whenever thou shalt choose to retire into thyself. The inner citadel is not a physical place, but a state of mind, a psychological stronghold built from the dichotomy of control, understanding what you can and cannot control. Objective judgment, seeing things as they are without unhelpful emotional narratives. Virtue as the sole good, anchoring your self-worth in your character, not external outcomes. Amor fati, accepting and even loving your fate. Premeditatio malorum, mentally preparing for adversity, and all the other Stoic disciplines we've discussed. This citadel is your command center, your place of refuge. When the storms of life rage, when you face criticism, loss, disappointment, or fear, you can retreat into this inner fortress. There you can access your reason, your principles, your resolve. External events may batter the outer walls, but they cannot breach the citadel if its foundations are strong. Consider someone facing a sudden job loss. Without an inner citadel, they might be consumed by panic, despair, self-blame, and fear for the future. Their emotional state is entirely at the mercy of the external event. With a developing inner citadel, first retreat. Within, they acknowledge the shock and disappointment, but consciously retreat to their inner space of reason. Second, apply principles under dichotomy of control. I can't control that I was laid off, but I can control my response, my job search strategy, how I manage my finances. Under objective judgment, the company restructured. This isn't necessarily a reflection of my ultimate worth or capability. Under amor fati, this has happened. It's now part of my path. What can I learn from this? What new opportunities might arise? Under virtue, how can I handle this with courage? Facing the uncertainty, temperance, managing emotions and finances wisely, and wisdom, planning my next steps thoughtfully. Third, maintain composure, while they may feel sadness or concern. Stoics are not emotionless robots. These emotions don't overwhelm their capacity for rational thought and action. Their core inner peace is disturbed but not destroyed. Building this citadel is the work of a lifetime. It requires consistent practice, like an athlete training their body. Every time you consciously apply a Stoic principle in a difficult situation, you are adding another stone to its walls, strengthening its defenses. The conspiracy is the belief that our peace and security must come from external circumstances, the right job, the perfect relationship, a stable world. Stoicism's secret is that true security is an internal achievement, a fortress you build within yourself, making you resilient regardless of external conditions. The concept of the inner citadel aligns with modern psychological ideas of self-regulation, emotional regulation, and mindfulness. Mindfulness practices, for example, teach individuals to observe their thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them, creating a space between stimulus and response. This space is the inner citadel. Developing strong coping mechanisms, a positive self-concept based on internal qualities and a sense of agency are all aspects of building this psychological fortress and are strongly linked to mental health and well-being. Actionable steps for this insight. First, daily Stoic practice. Consistently apply the Stoic principles we've discussed. Each application is a brick in your citadel. Second, mindful retreat. When you feel overwhelmed, consciously pause, take a few deep breaths, mentally step back from the situation and enter your inner space of calm reason. Remind yourself of your principles. Third, journaling as fortress blueprinting. Use journaling to reflect on how you're building your citadel. When did you successfully use Stoic principles to maintain your composure? Where are the weak spots that need more attention? Fourth, identify your ruling faculty. Constantly remind yourself, as Marcus Aurelius did, that your ruling faculty, your capacity for reason and choice, is your ultimate source of strength and freedom. The inner citadel is the embodiment of a mature Stoic mindset and the ultimate expression of emotional resilience. It is the sanctuary where true inner peace resides, protected from the vicissitudes of fortune. The personal development journey in Stoicism is largely about the construction and fortification of this internal stronghold, ensuring that your well-being is anchored in the one place no one can ever truly conquer: your own mind. And the guiding principle for life within this citadel and in the world is our final insight. Our 10th and final insight encapsulates the overarching goal of Stoic wisdom: living in accordance with nature. This profound directive has multiple layers of meaning for the Stoics and serves as the ultimate guide for a flourishing life, integrating all the principles we've discussed into a cohesive Stoic mindset. What does it mean to live in accordance with nature? First, living according to our human nature. Reason for the Stoics. The defining characteristic of human nature is our capacity for reason. Therefore, to live in accordance with nature means to live a life guided by reason, logic, and wisdom, rather than by irrational passions, fleeting impulses, or societal pressures. It means cultivating our intellect and applying it to live virtuously. Second, living according to the nature of the cosmos, order and interconnection. The Stoics believed the universe, cosmos, or nature, often equated with God or divine reason, logos, is an orderly, rational system where everything is interconnected, sympatheia. To live in accordance with this broader nature means to understand and accept our place within this system, to play our part harmoniously, and to accept the natural flow of events. Amor fati, dichotomy of control. Third, living virtuously. Since reason is our nature and virtue is the application of reason to living. Living according to nature inherently means living a virtuous life, a life of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These virtues are seen as being in harmony with the natural order. Epictetus emphasized this: for what is a human being, a part of a commonwealth? First and chiefly of that which includes both gods and human beings, and next of that which is called a commonwealth in a narrower sense, the one which is a small copy of the universal commonwealth. Our role is to be a good citizen of this cosmic commonwealth, using our reason to contribute to its harmony. Seneca advised, "Let philosophy be your bulwark. Live according to nature." This wasn't a call for a primitive lifestyle, but for a life aligned with our highest human capacities and the rational order of the universe. Imagine navigating a complex ethical dilemma at work. Perhaps you discover a colleague is cutting corners in a way that could harm clients, but exposing them might damage your career. Living not in accordance with nature, impulse, fear. You might ignore it due to fear or impulsively confront the colleague with anger or gossip about it. All reactions driven by emotion or self-preservation without deeper reason. Living in accordance with nature, reason, virtue, cosmic order. First, apply reason. You would calmly analyze the situation, considering all facts and potential consequences. Second, apply virtue. Consider justice. What is fair to the clients, to the company, to the colleague? Perhaps they need guidance. Consider courage. It might take courage to address the issue appropriately, even if there are personal risks. Consider wisdom. What is the most effective and ethical way to proceed? Report it through proper channels. Speak to the colleague directly but calmly. Consider temperance. Avoid rash action or excessive emotion. Third, consider cosmic order, sympathia. You recognize your actions have ripple effects. Acting ethically contributes to a healthier beehive, your workplace society. Living in accordance with nature means your actions are congruent with your rational, social, and virtuous self. It's about internal alignment and contributing to the greater good. This is the pinnacle of personal development. The conspiracy is the societal push towards artificiality, towards living against our true rational and social nature, often driven by consumerism, ego, or misguided notions of success. Stoicism's secret is that true fulfillment comes from aligning ourselves with the deep inherent wisdom of nature, both our own and the cosmic. Modern concepts like authentic living or values-congruent behavior resonate strongly with the Stoic idea of living according to nature. When our actions align with our deepest values and our rational understanding of ourselves and the world, we experience greater psychological well-being, purpose, and life satisfaction. Eco-psychology also explores the benefits of connecting with the natural world for mental health, reflecting the Stoic understanding of our place within a larger natural order. Actionable steps for this insight. First, daily reflection on reason. Before making significant decisions, ask, is this choice guided by reason and my core values, or by emotion, impulse, or external pressure? Second, practice sympathia. Actively remind yourself of your interconnectedness with others and the planet. Let this guide your actions towards more cooperative and sustainable behaviors. Third, align actions with virtues. Continuously strive to ensure your daily actions reflect the 4 cardinal Stoic virtues. This is the practical application of living according to your highest nature. Fourth, seek harmony. In your relationships, your work, and your inner life, strive for harmony and balance, much like the perceived order of the cosmos. Living in accordance with nature is the ultimate expression of the Stoic mindset. It is the path and the goal of personal development, leading to a life of profound meaning, purpose, and eudaimonia flourishing. It solidifies emotional resilience by grounding you in something larger and more enduring than your fleeting personal concerns. This is where deep and abiding inner peace is found, in the harmonious alignment of your individual will with the will of nature, guided by reason and virtue. This is the culmination of unlocking Stoic wisdom. We've journeyed through 10 profound insights from Stoic wisdom, from understanding what we can control to embracing our fate, from preparing for adversity to living by virtue, from seeing things objectively to recognizing our cosmic interconnectedness, and finally to the grand aim of living in accordance with nature. These are not just intellectual curiosities, they are potent tools for radical personal development and achieving lasting emotional resilience. But knowledge alone is not enough. As Seneca wisely said, "The willing soul fate leads, the unwilling drags." The true transformation comes not from merely understanding these principles, but from living them day in and day out. This is the journey of cultivating a genuine Stoic mindset. This path isn't about achieving some mythical state of emotionless perfection. The Stoics were realists. They understood human frailty. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about striving every day to be a little wiser, a little more courageous, a little more temperate. It's about getting back up when you stumble with renewed commitment to your principles. Imagine the cumulative effect of consistently applying these insights. The inner peace that comes from focusing only on what you control, letting go of the rest. The strength that comes from not just accepting but loving your unique path, challenges and all. The preparedness that neutralizes the shock of misfortune. The unshakable self-worth derived from your character, not from fleeting externals. The ability to see every obstacle as an opportunity for growth. The clarity and purpose that arise from remembering your mortality and your place in the cosmos. The tranquility that results from seeing reality as it is without the distortion of negative stories. The sense of belonging and purpose from recognizing your connection to all beings. The unbreachable sanctuary of your inner citadel. The deep fulfillment of living a life aligned with reason, virtue, and nature. This is not a quick fix. This is a lifelong practice, a philosophy for life. But the rewards are immeasurable, a life of meaning, resilience, and profound inner freedom. The conspiracy of modern life often sells us shortcuts to happiness that lead nowhere. The enduring secret of Stoicism is that true contentment is an inside job, a product of disciplined thought and virtuous action. How to continue your Stoic journey? Choose one insight to focus on. Don't try to implement everything at once. Perhaps pick one insight that resonates most deeply with you right now and focus on practicing it for a week or a month. Second, daily reading. Spend a few minutes each day reading from the Stoic masters, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. Their words are a timeless source of guidance and inspiration. Third, journaling. A Stoic journal is your laboratory for self-reflection and growth. Note your challenges, how you applied or failed to apply Stoic principles and what you learned. Fourth, find a community like ours. Share your journey with like-minded individuals. Discuss these ideas. Support each other. That's what we aim to foster here at the Wisdom of Stoics. This journey of personal development through Stoic wisdom is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully yourself, the rational, virtuous, resilient being you are capable of being. It's about chipping away at the unhelpful habits of thought and action to reveal the strong, serene core within. You've made it through this deep dive into Stoic wisdom, and I commend you for investing this time in your personal development. The journey doesn't end here. In many ways, it's just beginning. The principles we've discussed are like seeds. They need to be watered with consistent practice, tended with self-reflection, and given the light of conscious awareness to truly flourish into a resilient Stoic mindset, capable of bringing you lasting inner peace and emotional resilience. And you don't have to walk this path alone. The Wisdom of Stoics is more than just a channel. We aim to be a community, a fellow traveler on your journey. If this exploration has resonated with you, if you found value and inspiration, please show your support by giving this video a like. It truly helps us reach more people who might benefit from these timeless teachings. To continue exploring Stoicism and other wisdom for a better life, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have so much more to share. Practical applications, deeper dives into specific texts, interviews, and guided meditations. And now I have a question for you. This is important. Which of these 10 Stoic insights resonated most powerfully with you today? Which one do you feel could make the biggest immediate difference in your life if you started practicing it? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every comment, and your insights not only help us understand what's most valuable to you, but they also inspire and help other members of our community. Let's learn from each other. Perhaps it's the dichotomy of control that offers immediate relief from anxiety. Maybe Amor Fati has given you a new perspective on a past hardship. Or perhaps the idea of building your inner citadel feels like the exact project your soul has been calling for. Remember, the goal isn't to be a perfect Stoic overnight. The Stoics themselves were lifelong students. It's about the consistent effort, the gentle turning of the mind towards reason and virtue. Every small step taken with intention builds momentum. As you go forward from this video, carry these insights with you. Let them inform your thoughts, guide your actions, and shape your responses to the world. You possess an incredible capacity for strength, wisdom, and peace. Stoic wisdom is simply the key to unlocking it. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey. Keep striving, keep learning, keep growing. The Wisdom of Stoics is here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, live with virtue, live with reason, and may you find the peace that surpasses all understanding.